Hey, this is Mad Hatter, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Kelp XP bank. I'm going to warn you that these are not very fast, but you do get your fuel back, so it is just a XP positive source, but it will take you about 24 hours of AFK to get one of the furnaces filled up. It might be a little bit close to 27 hours, but anyway, when we're talking about that, it doesn't really matter. You can hook this up to the bone meal powered kelp farm that I did a couple of weeks ago. You can see a link to that probably in the cards, but let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, this build behind me is a beautiful build from Structura Lab. There should be a link in the description if you want to find it. And if you didn't know, you can download the structure files and you can import them using the load import button if you have that on your device. When you import a file, it will just give you an empty box that you're looking at on the screen. You got to figure out about where you put it, and then it appears in the world. And again, that is load, import, and you can select your file. That's how I get mine into the world. But to get us started, I'm going to show you what we're going to build. Hit load. This is what we are going to do a tutorial on. It is a bunch of furnaces like this that all get filled up. You push the button when you're done. The items all empty through to the bottom in these shulkers, in a optional shulker loader that you have at the bottom, or you can do whatever you want with the items. And you fill up these double chests with kelp to smelt. And then this is the amount of kelp that it has to smelt to repair one netherite pickaxe. I am putting it like this because then if you hook it up to a super fast kelp farm, you can just put up a long column and it will eventually just fill up all of your XP banks in order. And you can load the kelp in from either one of these hoppers. You don't need to do both. Okay, let's get started. Let's just put a row of chests here. This could be shulker loaders, whatever you want. I'm just going to put a couple of chests in. Now, this is going to require some imagination on your starting point. Whatever you're going to do for your shulker loaders or whatever you're putting here, that's going to be, you need to make sure it doesn't interfere with these particular pistons. So you might need to leave an air gap. So now I'm going to put sticky pistons facing up. On the sticky pistons, you're going to place torches just down the side, just like this. Now you're going to place hoppers. You can face them down, you can face them sideways, you can face them whatever way you want. Then on top of these torches, you're going to place solid blocks. These have to be powerful solid blocks. Then you're going to place hoppers into those blocks. Now you're going to place blocks on top of these pistons. Really easy, just like that. Now comparators facing this way. These comparators are gonna, well, before we get the comparator, the next thing in, we're gonna place another set of hoppers facing this way. These hoppers here are the difference between netherite repairs and diamond repairs. Then you're gonna place barrels just like this. Then we're going to place hoppers facing into these barrels. You have to make sure they go into the barrels, otherwise you won't get enough XP. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a temporary block in. I'm just going to use these barrels for temporary blocks. Now we're going to place pistons facing down. I'm going to break out these temporary blocks so I don't forget them, but for you, I would put the redstone blocks in next. Then I would break out my temporary blocks. Now we're going to get back on top. And we're going to grab some blocks. This could be glass or powerable blocks. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put glass in because it doesn't matter which ones they are. And I think glass is cooler. Now we're going to put hoppers facing this way. Then we're going to just build a little bit of a path right here and to put glass just like this, and another comparator set facing this way. Now between these comparators you're going to put a set of solid blocks. Now, after these comparators, you're going to put another set of solid blocks. Now, what we're going to do is put a temporary block across the top. We're going to put hoppers facing that way. Then hoppers facing back in. This is going to be our clock for each of the channels. I like having a clock for each channel because it means that if something goes wrong, only one channel breaks at a time. Next thing we're going to do is cover up these back hoppers because I don't want something to go wrong, and extra items ending up there is something that can go wrong. Then we'll put comparators facing this way and observers. This is the easiest way to get the observer in, is to place it directly looking into these comparators. Okay, now the next thing we can do is a barrel. Oh, sorry. Let's do the crafters next. The crafter faces this way into the line of hoppers, and then finally we put a barrel in just like that. This has to be a barrel, it can't be a hopper. Now, what we're going to do is put a set of blocks on top of these barrels. They have to be blocks that the comparators can read through. Then we're going to place comparators just like this. Then we're going to place blocks just like this. Then what we're going to do is put torches in just like this. Now you're going to put one item in each of these hoppers. Do not put two, it won't work. It won't go faster, it will stop. Put one item in each of these hoppers and make sure it's only one item. After you get your one item in, seal it up. That way you don't end up with a second item, because if you end up with a second item, it breaks. And while you're building, you don't want to make all these things stop working. Okay, now we are on to the floor. You could place your floor on the top of these pistons, and you can make this floor out of any powerable block. It has to be powerable. Okay, next thing that you can do, you can run this floor right up next to these hoppers. And I like to put stairs this way. Now you're going to need buttons. The buttons can be any type of button. They just go across the floor just like that. Now we're going to put in our smokers. Smokers go just like this. Now we're going to put in our hoppers again. This takes a lot of hoppers, and I understand that that's quite expensive, but nice things are expensive. So now hoppers, just like that. We're going to start on our fuel loading. The way we do that is just like this. Put a line of powered rail just like that. And then we're going to place a detector rail here. And then go up a block, and this has to be a powerable, or a block that a comparator can read through. Break it so that the rail's slanted up like that. Then we're going to put a temporary block there for now, and we'll get into how to work with that in a little bit. Now we're going to need to apply power. You can use a redstone block, you can put a torch, but this can go as long as you want. You just got to put torches across it. Now, next thing we're going to do is go out this way, just some spots to build. Comparator, a powerable block, and then we're going to put a comparator here and a chest of some sort, and you're going to put however many items you have for the furnace array. You're going to put at least that many items in this chest. Doesn't matter what the items are, just got to be in that chest. Put a piece of redstone dust there. Now we're going to place this and this, and we're going to get a repeater. Place two repeaters here. 1, 2. We're going to put a redstone torch there and a powerable block there, and then a torch there and a block just like that. Now we need a fence gate, and the fence gate has to face this direction. It cannot face this direction, it won't work. It has to face this direction. Okay, and now we're gonna get our hoppers out. And we're going to make a 4-speed loader. Doesn't necessarily need to be a 4-speed loader, but I could fit it in, and I liked the idea of it going faster. So we're gonna put 4 blocks just like that. Put a hopper in like that. You could put a chest here. It doesn't matter what you put here, but it's just got to be a container. Item, hopper like that, and a hopper facing straight down. And now if you want this to be a single chest that you load items from, I personally don't really care how I load my items, but this is going to be your fuel input. So if you really want it to come out of one chest, here's how you do that. You're going to get yourself some fences, and you're going to put your fences just like that. Then you're going to get yourself a rail. Doesn't matter what type of rail it is. And you're going to place your rail just like that. Put your hopper like that. Hopper minecart like that. Push it forward. And then push it and it will turn the corner. And now this is your fuel input chest. And this is your fuel line. So now if I grab my chest minecart, and I use a chest minecart for this because the hopper minecarts can pull items out when I don't want them to. So I'm going to put a chest minecart in. I'm just going to put it here. And it's going to go up and it's going to stick right there. Now, if I go up here and I get some kelp, if I get some kelp blocks and put them in, you can see if you put this in subtract mode, once this gets 64 blocks in it, it'll have to get a little bit more than 64 blocks, but once it gets filled up enough, it'll trigger, the minecart will go back and forth, and it will just keep filling up your smokers just like that. See, we're getting fuel in our smokers. Now, let's go do some more building. And this is kind of the last thing we got to do. So we're going to build up 1 hopper, and then we're going to put our chests in. And you can see this is why I don't want to have a hopper minecart, because I don't want to pull the raw kelp out. And I also like to leave clear space above my furnace array just for headroom for the build. It's just an aesthetic reason. So this works just fine. You need to get 5 double chests and 5 hoppers worth of storage on here to make it so that it will have just enough kelp. It'll have just enough kelp in the above to fill this with crafted kelp blocks. Now we just keep building up. Okay, that is it. That is the storage for the input kelp. And I do know, like, if you have your kelp farm running continuously, you don't need to put all these chests on there. You could just feed your kelp into the back along a hopper line or something similar. But, oh, that one's wrong. But if you have a kelp farm that is like the bone meal based one, you're going to want to have the buffer. This is the buffer that's required for the thing to fill up. Now let's talk about the way that this works. So you can see that all of these are filled up and turned off. I brought in this structure because it was almost full, and it is the same as this one. Oh, one minor thing. Once this gets filled up, I don't like the clicky 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 of that door opening constantly. So you could put a lever on this block. Let me find a lever. You can put a lever on that block, and then the fuel will stop getting filled up. So now this XP bank is ready to go. It will make fuel down here. You can put it into shulker loaders if you want, and then you just put your fuel back up. You have your farm running, and it can be a infinite source of fuel and XP. It is not the fastest XP source, but it does work. One thing that you do get out of this that you don't get out of a lot of farms is I can take this out, I get my XP, I push this button, and these all drain down to the bottom. This will give me about 30 levels per furnace. It does take 24 hours or longer to fill up these furnaces to get them all fully smoked, but you get 30 levels instantly. So the question is, do you want 200 levels when you get back, or do you want a bunch of furnaces filled up that you can get 30 levels in one go? In my opinion, it's a lot more efficient to get the 30 levels in one pull than it is to AFK for just a ton of levels. Anyway, there's a Structura lab link in the description. This beautiful build down here, this is also has a Structura lab link in the description. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. This is a really kind of cool and niche build, but I like it. Anyway, this is Mad Hatter, and I'm out. Bye!